2018 is just about here, which means it is a good time for me to update you on what planner systems I plan to use in the next year. How many times am I going to say plan in this video? I'm really curious about that. So I'm going to kind of break this video into a couple of parts. Now, if you watch my Thunderdome back in July, and I will link that up above where I decided these are the planners I was going to use, I can update you on that as I go through the video because there are some updates to that. Of course there are, but I am going to kind of divide this into how I plan. And when it comes to my basic life planning, these two guys right here are my main squeezes. They are the ones I've been using for 6 months now, and they are the ones I'm going to continue to use into 2018. And that is my bullet journal in this Scribbles That Matter. This one I started in October, and if my prediction that I made a few videos back holds true, where is it? This is when I hit the middle of this bullet journal. I predicted I will be starting a new BJ, yeah buddy, in March. When we get to March, will I still be using a Scribbles That Matter journal, or will I try a different one? I don't know yet. Chances are I'll go for another Scribbles That Matter because I really love this, but who knows? That's plenty of time for me to change my mind. So my bullet journal and my Erin Condren Hourly Neutral, which is the one I just flipped through yesterday. This is a July through June, so this one, if I stick with it for the next 6 months, this one is where I visually map my week. I make sure to get appointments in so I can see where they are, as you can see here, when I go to see a musical, when I have church. I use it to put where on the timeline these things are happening so that I remember to be there at that time. Just writing the time down in my bullet journal is not visually compelling enough to make sure I get there on time. I also use this to block out time periods for when I'm supposed to be working or doing church shit or hanging out with my kids or whatever the case may be. This is basically a fancy method of blocking out my time. That's pretty much the main purpose of this planner, and to give me that chance to really use stickers and lettering and get fancy with it, because I don't really do that. I mean, I do a little bit of that, but not much in my bullet journal. The other most important component of this planner is the monthly spread, and as a matter of fact, this monthly spread is the most important component of any of my planners. I could lose the weekly spreads, I could lose the bullet journal, I could lose all the things, and that would still make sure my life was together. If I whittled it all down to nothing, that monthly spread is everything I need. But of course, who actually lives their life like that? I'm not a minimalist, if you haven't been able to tell so far. Some people might say, well, Cindy, that's your sticker book. And if you say that, you might not be wrong. But on the same note, it makes me happy. And that's all that matters, because it's my fucking planner, right? And that's what you should think about yours. If somebody judges you for how you plan, just remember, it's your fucking planner. The bullet journal serves as my to-do list and brainstorming situation. This is where I go in and I make lists, all the lists. I'm a list maker. I have all the lists in my bullet journal. Lists for fucking days. That's how I live my life in this bullet journal. The other thing that I use it for, besides listing and brainstorming, is challenges. My lettering challenge is in here, and yes, I will be continuing that for 2018. Look for a video on that on Saturday. Whatever doodle challenge I do, which, by the way, spoiler alert, it's not done yet for the year, but tell me how fucking tits this Nintendo Doodle Challenge is looking. I'm feeling really smug right now. Point being, this is for lists, for brainstorming, and for challenges. And that's about what I use it for. I also track things like my habits, but I may be adjusting that in the new year. I haven't decided yet. I may be dropping time tracking, but again, I haven't decided yet. But point being is, as a list keeper and brainstorm keeper, this is perfect to work with this, because that gives me a little bit more space in here to be a little less listy and a little more like blocky. The difference between a week like this, where it's lists upon lists upon lists, and a week like this where I can actually block it a little bit more and not worry so much about the endless to-do list. If you're curious to see how I use these in tandem, all of January I'm going to be doing a plan as you go month, where every day I'm going to show you how I use these two each day. These are my life, and they include appointments and meetings and conference calls and all those things. In the planner Thunderdome, I had the Erin Condren hardbound large planner that I was going to use for church shit. Well, that died. That planner lost in the Thunderdome and is now shelved in case I have another use for it this next year, because it is a beautiful planner. However, what I have discovered is, between the list capabilities of this and the timing and the blocking in this planner, I didn't really need it. So I take notes in here, like I took notes from several meetings from church. These are all notes, church related notes. I took those in my bullet journal. It works just fine for me. So no longer do I need the specific church planner. I'm just gonna do it here, and I'm only president for 6 more months. So at that point, then I will be able to reassess the extra space in my life. Now we're gonna move into a world of my kind of specialty situations that cover specific areas. When I said that I didn't need extra space for church shit, that's not a lie. What I do need is some extra space for business shit. YouTube, my Instagram, my Patreon, my upcoming I have other things coming. There are many things coming in 2018. As I kind of grow and expand and like learn how to be a fucking grown up, there are things coming this next year, and I need space to work and plan and think about things. While I have space in these to start that, I really don't have a dedicated area in either of these that would be ample enough. At least so I'm thinking. This may go the way of the dodo in 2018, same as the church planner did. This is the Day Designer A5, the vegan leather, like pebbled one. And in it, I have the inserts. I haven't finished setting this up. And when I do, I'll do a full walkthrough. If you'd like to see that, please let me know. But what I have in here is tracking and project planning to kind of help me brainstorm out some of the things I need to do. I have the undated inserts. If I don't use things for a couple weeks or a month, that's fine. I'm not wasting paper, which makes me really excited about this particular system. Keeping my shit together so my head doesn't explode. I have seen recommended in a few different places on the internet. This is a workbook that is meant for business planning. And as I have never been good at planning things, I mean, you'd think this is a fucking planner channel, but when it comes to being a serious, as we call a civilized business person, which I don't think I am, but maybe one day I will be, I thought something like this could really help me refine what it is I hope to be doing in the next year, as opposed to the chicken with my head cut off method that I've been following thus far. This is the Your Best Year by Lisa Jacobs business edition, and it is a workbook, and I am going to be doing the workbook thing with it. And we'll see. Again, this may be like the power sheets were for me last year, where I did all of the pre-work, which was really helpful, but then I didn't follow through with the rest of it. I should probably dig those out at some point too and mess with them, but not today. Part of what I'm doing here in this video also is showing you that it is entirely possible to go buy all the things and then not use all of the things. And that's kind of where I am right now. Part of me wonders if I'm gonna find like the minimalist world this year and deal with my shit, but maybe not. In the Planner Thunderdome, I used an Erin Condren deluxe notebook to plan out my YouTube stuff, like my YouTube videos and things like that, and it wasn't working. What I am using currently is a wall calendar, which I'm about to change out, and Trello, which is an online app. And if you would like me to do a video talking about how I do that, then let me know in the comments. The last section of my plannery shit for the year is these things that I'm kind of just putting in a home or, you know, outside of the realm of work and my life. Kind of, I don't know what the category is. This is going to be my husband's and my budget notebook for the year. It is an Erin Condren Deluxe Monthly Planner, and I have not set it up yet. But when I do set it up, I will do a video, and I'm hoping to keep you in the loop with my budget journey. My husband and I are not in a lot of debt besides our house. Our cars are paid off. We have a little bit of credit card debt and a little bit of student loan debt, and then the massive house debt because we live in fucking Napa. We really want to be better at adulting this year, and budgeting is part of that. So I haven't decided exactly what I'm doing yet, but he and I are going to sit down, and I will, if you are, again, I'm going to keep saying this, but if you are interested in seeing me hot mess my way through fucking budgeting, let me know in the comments. We had a notebook that I had gotten in swag that I was going to use for house projects, but that, like the church notebook, has gotten kind of incorporated into the bullet journal, so it's not really necessary. Now, this last thing is kind of the wild card in the whole situation. I consider the stuff besides these two guys here, these are my main planners. If I was gonna say what is my planner system, these two guys. The other stuff is kind of specialized situations to plan specialized stuff. This is something different completely than what I usually do. This is going to be a challenge I am setting for myself for the entirety of 2018, and we will see how far I can get with it. I'm gonna try and memory keep. This is my daughter's last year in middle school. She will be going into high school in the fall. My son is in middle school. We own our first house. We have our first cat. We have a lot of things that happened this last year, but it was a really stressful year in our lives with my health and with, you know, the world being full of malarkey. And my health is getting worse and worse. That's not something that is up for debate. So I thought that my husband and I were talking about how we should try and get out of town more with the kids, or just the two of us while we still can before I go on dialysis, which is not coming yet, but we're expecting to come sooner rather than later. I'm shitty as shit at taking pictures. I suck ass at taking pictures. I suck even more ass at getting pictures taken of me. So I thought that I should try and memory keep for a year and get in the habit of it. Even if I'm not great at it, even if I don't do it all the time, even if it's not Instagram worthy, it'll be an opportunity to give something to my kids and say, look, we did this, hoping that they're not assholes all year. So this cover was it's Happy Planner, and it was a swag at, I want to say, the Arizona meetup I went to in June. This was an 18-month planner. I pulled out the 6 months of 2017. Now I know that the Happy Planner has memory keeping shit, like memory keeping planners, but I was like, fuck, I've got this already. So I am going to use this to memory keep every day. And I think I may wind up getting one of those little photo printers for your phone. I don't know which one to get. I've heard that different ones work differently. If you have opinions on like the Sprocket versus the Polaroid versus any of that shit, let me know in the comments, because I, generally speaking, don't know shit about any of that shit. And I would like to have something instant rather than having to, there is a fucking lawnmower outside. Balls in my mouth. It's okay, I'm almost done. God, I hope I'm almost done. I'm waiting for it to mellow. It sounds like they're mowing my yard, which I know they're not, but they should. I would prefer an instant camera rather than having to order from like Shutterprints or go to the fucking, do many people even go to the pharmacy to get their pictures printed anymore? I don't even know. I would prefer something I could automatically spit out. And I'm thinking, even though I struggle with the discs are not my thing. That's why, as much as I love the paper and I love the layout of the Happy Planner, I can't hang with the discs. But I figure if I'm just memory keeping and going into this once a day or once every couple of days, I can deal with the discs. That is my prediction. Let's see here. We've got this guy, we've got this guy, I'm making my own little planner stack. It's stacking right up to the camera lens. This, whoa, is my planner stack for 2018. Again, it may seem excessive, but these two are the main ones, and the rest of this stuff is supplemental, whatever. Let me know what you're using. I've asked you to put 8,000 things in the comments, but I would like to know what you're using for next year. Are you a 1-book person? Are you a 12-book person? Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.